The Rampage represents a very important story element in Monster Hunter Rise. It is also the game mode that allows us to play Monster Hunter in a very different way. Needless to say, it is very important. One of the benefits of playing the Rampage is that we get access to the special Rampage weapon tree. Unfortunately, for the Great Sword, the Rampage weapon was not very good in versions 1.0 and 2.0. That said, everything changes in version 3.0, where we see that the newest upgrade to the Rampage Great Sword solidifies itself as a serious contender to be the best. Indeed, a new challenger has entered the ring. Before we continue with the build, there are two things that you need to take into consideration when looking at this set. First, this build is a baseline build. This means that it can change and evolve as we receive more content and continue to explore the game. Second, please remember that this game is heavily focused around the talismans that we are able to get through RNG rolling. As such, the better the talisman, the better the build. Unfortunately, we cannot control which talismans we get, so I will be making this build with the absolute minimum requirement possible. No god talismans, no lucky rolls, just the minimum. Let's get started. The equipment we will be running is a fully mixed set, taking parts from different monsters. First and foremost, the weapon we will be using is the Rampage Cleaver S, and for armor, we will be running the high-rank versions of the Teostra Helm, the Anjanath Chest, the Teostra Gloves, the Anjanath Waist, and the Ingot Greaves. The talisman we are using is a Fatal Tempest Talisman that gives us 1 point in Weakness Exploit with a level 2 decoration slot. This is the most important piece of the build. The talisman you see here is the minimum requirement to run the basic greatsword builds that we have access to at this moment. Better talismans will improve your build, but this is the least you need to have to be able to take full advantage of the tools we currently have access to in the game. As mentioned before, we will be using the Rampage Cleaver S. With its new update, this greatsword is the most versatile greatsword that we have access to, and it is a very strong contender to be the best one in the game. The Rampage Cleaver S that we are using has a raw attack of 220, 40 hits of natural blue sharpness, and an affinity of 20%. It has no decoration slots. We managed to obtain these stats with the following Rampage skills: Attack Boost 4, Non-Element Boost, and Affinity Surge. This is the best combination of Rampage skills that gives this greatsword the highest overall destructive power. The decorations that we use in this set are the ones that follow. On the helm, 1 steadfast jewel. On the chest, 2 steadfast jewels. On the gloves, 1 tenderizer jewel. On the waist, 1 critical jewel and 2 empty level 1 slots. On the legs, 1 empty level 1 slot. On the talisman, 1 critical jewel. I am sure that you have noticed that there are a total of 3 empty level 1 decoration slots. The reason why I left these empty is because you can fit these with any skill you want. Since the Rampage Greatsword has 40 hits of blue sharpness, we no longer need to run speed sharpening, as 40 hits is more than enough. As a result, we can fill these slots in with whatever we need. I prefer to use free meal, but there are other options: flinch free, windproof, defense boost, any elemental resistance, or any status immunity. Take advantage of these empty slots to counter the strength of the monster that you are hunting. When we combine these armor and decorations, we will be hunting with the following skills: Critical Eye 6, Attack Boost 4, Critical Boost 3, Weakness Exploit 3, Stun Resistance 3, Focus 2, Marathon Runner 1, Teostra Blessing 1. And of course, whichever skill you decide to add to the empty decoration slots. This is a very balanced skill list, combining offensive and support skills. The first thing to notice is that this build gives us 100% affinity. Critical Light is 30%, Weakness Exploit is 50%, and the Great Sword gives us the remaining 20%. As long as you are able to hit the monster's weak spots, you will never miss a critical hit. Attack Boost and Critical Boost are there to maximize our damage on every hit, guaranteeing that it is the highest that we can reach. Stun Resistance is one of the best skills that we can have with level 1 decorations. In regards to Focus, generally speaking, I always prefer to hunt with Focus 3. That said, Focus 2 is enough to hunt comfortably. There are good arguments for both sides to explain which is better, but I will let you decide that for yourself. That said, getting Focus 3 on this build would mean sacrificing either Weakness Exploit or Critical Boost. I do not think that it is worth it. I recommend to run Focus 2. Finally, Marathon Runner and Dragonheart are leftover skills that are byproducts of our armor. They are not needed, but they're nice to have. With 100% affinity and very high damage, alongside comfort and the ability to adapt some skills to the monster you are hunting, this build is the complete package. It is pure balance. Not only this, but it is able to get close to the mighty Nargacuga in terms of power. This build is only 1% weaker than the Nargacuga build. That being said, this build does not have white sharpness. This means that there are some specific monster parts that you will bounce off of. It's not a big deal, but you will have to pay attention. The best perk that this build offers is the ability to layer your Rampage Cleaver with any other greatsword you want. Gosharag? You got it. Wyvern Fang? You got it. Agnosom? Absolutely. With this build, you can run whichever greatsword you think looks best, and that is priceless. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope I get to see you on the next one.